Hey everyone, my name is Gabriel Batista from Homes into Reality. Welcome back to the channel where I bring real estate content every single week about being a first-time buyer in Toronto. And this week we're back to condo tours, at least virtual condo tours, where we're going to check out a different neighborhood and see what type of first-time buyer or entry-level condos we can get in this neighborhood. And by a request from a natural client of mine, we are looking at Junction condos and what is sold over the past month. The Junction is a beautiful neighborhood in the west end of Toronto. A lot of people like the Junction for a couple of reasons. It's not in the core spot of downtown. You're not in a really busy area, but you're still in a pocket in the west end where you're nearby a combination of nature, walkable restaurants, and amenities, but you're still in really good commuting distance to the downtown core when you need to go to work. What's interesting about the Junction as well is you're not really in a condo-dominated area. There actually are very few condos in the area. The majority of the properties are freehold properties like semis, detached homes, and townhouses, where they're century-old homes and they're actually very expensive homes. So you're looking at $1 million plus by far for a lot of these properties. So if you wanted to live in the Junction, these condos are a good way to get in and a good way to be at an entry-level price point to live in a very extravagant and high-desired neighborhood. So enough chatter, let's look into these properties. We're looking at properties in the Junction, condos that have just sold since May 1st of 2023. So as mentioned, when it comes to the Junction, I picked out 7 properties here. But the actual map itself, we're typically looking at, this is over here, Weston into Keele, going towards Dundas and DuPont. So I would say the Junction starts around that Stockyards area and then leads a little bit more south, closer to Hyde Park. And then it goes along Dundas. When I would call it the scenic route of where a lot of the famous pockets of the Junction live in the sense of restaurants and cool amenities. But let's look into the 7 properties that we have here. So when it comes to the properties here, we're going to be doing mostly entry-level price points. We're going to be leading to about $500,000 all the way up to about $800,000. I'm going to do my best to stick to the entry-level price point for the sole reason being that as a first-time buyer, you're probably not looking at a $1 million condo. But we have a decent variety when we look in between at all these properties. So we'll take a peek at that right now. So we're going to start with 60 Heisman Street, unit 1317. This sold, it was at an offer date and sold at $517 after 19 days on market. It's listed as a 1-bedroom. It is more of a junior 1-bedroom with, you see over here, there's a Murphy bed, and it's a little bit more of a smaller living space. Lower maintenance fee, but that's more of a virtue, the fact that it's a smaller living space. Looks like they actually use their bedroom, I guess, as a living space, and they just turn the Murphy bed into their bed. Smaller area, a little bit of an older building, 1 parking spot, which is nice to have as well. And you're looking at the building over here at just south of the LA Fitness, south of Stockyards, right by where Dundas is. It's kind of in a spot of its own. It's good in the sense of very walkable to these pockets. And it stays alone. There isn't a ton of other buildings around it as well. Moving on to 243 Perth Avenue. So this is a loft conversion, which is interesting. With the area being a little bit more of an older building, or Junction being a little bit more of an older pocket, these conversions are not uncommon. So you see the first picture is a church, and we're looking at, people wouldn't think a church would be anything special, but we look into it. It's a bigger space, 619, and the church was converted into a loft space. So definitely going to have a little bit more of a unique look to it. Nice overall space, some modern finishes. I think translates really well to an entry-level price point or an entry-level type of property. You have a very well combined living space. Let's see here. Smaller bedroom, not a ton of natural light, but works decent size. You have a good sized bed in there as well. And then laundry in the unit as well. We can take a peek at the floor plan. Yeah, so not a ton of natural light coming in. That's normal with the loft conversion just because they are working with an older heritage building, so they may not get the most ideal light coming in. But overall, interesting unit. Was listed at $599 and sold for $572, so slightly under what the asking price was. I don't believe there was an offer date on something like this. And over 8 days was still a pretty quick time to be sold. No parking with the unit. But overall, this is something that maybe if you're looking at something more unique and more has that more character to it, this is something that may be a good option for you living in the Junction. Up next, we're looking at 530 Indian Grove, unit 307, listed at about $630 and sold for $600 after 20 days on market. Smaller unit as well in the 500s, but for lower maintenance fee, 1 parking spot, and I don't believe there's any offer dates. It was just listed as offers anytime. Overall, great space, very bright with the windows, a modern look with the kitchen as well. A little bit smaller overall space when looking at this photo, but let's take a peek. And then you have your enclosed bedroom. So it's not You don't have a window going outside bedroom wise, but it's a little bit more of a tighter layout, selling at $600,000. Let's take a peek at the location. You're looking at, actually this one, yeah, this is the one over here. So we're looking in that similar pocket to what the Heisman building was. You're on, a really good pocket in the sense the amenities are just downstairs. This is actually where the LCBO is. So a fairly good pocket in that sense. But overall, a little bit more of a modern unit, smaller but modern at the $600,000 price point. I'm seeing a trend here as well that not a lot of these properties are selling on offer dates. Most of them are selling, looks like, under asking. We'll see how that trend continues as we go on as well. We have another unit at 60 Heisman. That was the first property we saw. Now it's we have a 1+ or 2+ den here, about 700 square feet, a little bit lower of a maintenance fee as well, which is nice. Let's peek at the photos. So this is your den over here. That's my first instinct. That's your den that you're getting. And then you're getting a nice modern kitchen, a little bit smaller, but modern appliances, upkept well with your breakfast bar. Decent size dining room plus your kitchen, which is always nice, with a decent sized bedroom. It looks like it's a split layout with bedrooms on either side. But let's see if I can get a photo of that here. You're looking at, so here's one of the beds, which is a little bit on the smaller end, but overall, actually, it actually feels like a good space. And then we look at the other bedroom, which is over here. They use it that's why they use it as an office space. But 2 bedrooms plus a den at $703,000 after 8 days on market, which is good in the sense of like a little bit more of a larger space. If you wanted to, it's $100,000 jump from the last property, but you're getting a little bit more extra square footage. So a little more of a value, and a little bit of an older building. So there definitely is a plethora of options when you look over here. So next we're looking at 1100 Lansdowne Avenue, another hard loft in the sense of that if we open it up, this is definitely not your typical aesthetic you get in a condo. Much higher ceilings, exposed concrete, overall really large living space. Let's look at some photos to get a sense. Yeah, very long living space, good sized bedroom. Your windows obviously are not, you can tell it's a hard conversion because this is not typical of your usual condo. No, it's not floor to ceiling windows. It shows as what it used to be. You have the exposed piping as well, which is very common in a loft. Smaller kitchen. Let's see if I can get a better photo of that. Smaller kitchen, but similar to last property, a little bit on updated appliances, but room for 2 as a breakfast bar. Great size bedroom. Actually, is very, very nice. Actually, this would be something very nice to wake up to. And then if you look at some of the amenities here, you'll see this is a pure. Actually, not even the amenities, just the common space to get inside. This looks like it's been a barn at one point. What is it? Yeah, this is the outside of it. So you can tell they've definitely converted this space into something a little bit more unique, which is common in the Junction because, again, it was a much older community, century properties. This property also included 1 parking spot and a locker as well with 506 maintenance fees. Definitely, this is the second property that's a loft in our 7, which is just overall has really good character, shows very well, very different than your typical condo, I'd say. And the last one we're going to look at today is a different building. It's 2300 St. Clair. This building is not where the other ones were. It's just off of St. Clair, right by where Stockyards is. So it's a brand new building. I've seen this building a lot, and it's definitely at a higher price point. You have a 1+ den and a 2-bed bathroom for $720,000. But if you look at the actual property, it shows very well. Like it's a much larger living space, very combined, but very bright. These are your typical floor to ceiling windows you'll get out of these properties. So we have on one end, we have a more traditional, let's say, loft style versus this being a more of a bright, modern layout. So you really get both, the best of both worlds in the Junction. You have that, maybe that character versus that little bit more of a newer product. And overall, it looks great. Definitely at a higher price point with it being a newer condo. Took some time in the market, 62 days, listed at $750, then eventually sold at $720. So definitely was room to move on a price point like this. But overall, it's a more of a modern product. So there shouldn't be maybe a worry that you might not get that modern look in the Junction. You have a very good variety with it being a brand new building versus, say, a middle-aged building or a much older building. That's a good summary of the properties that typically do sell in the Junction. I hope it gives you a good idea what the neighborhood's all about and what options are available to you if you do want to live in the Junction. Like I said before, if you have any questions about the Toronto real estate market, I do help first-time buyers and first-time renters get into the Toronto real estate market. That's really the purpose of these videos, help people explore neighborhoods, get a sense of what's going on in the Toronto real estate market, and watch my other videos to learn more. But my contact information is below, my phone number and my email, and if you want to book a call with me, you can do so there. I'm consistently taking on new clients who want to learn about the Toronto real estate market, and whatever way I can do to help you on that end, you let me know and we'll get started. Anyways, that's this week's video. If you have any neighborhoods you specifically want to tour and get a sense of over the next couple weeks, please let me know. We'll make a video about that. I'm more than excited to do so. Anyways, my name is Gabriel Batista, Homes Entry Reality. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye.